Okay. Um, all right, so we're here. And well, I think people who might be watching this, some of them will know, who we are, but my name is Ibu. I'm here with Benedetto Biondi, CEO of Folks Finance, founder of Folks Finance. Um, I'm also part of the Folks Finance teams as the CMO. And today is the day after we just did the Folks TGE.
Correct. Just 24-hour, a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. So I thought it would be great to kind of like just chat and check in on everything, kind of see how you're feeling, how everything's going, give people a view into your whole perspective on things, on the past, on the future, and current events. So I guess the first thing is like, how are you feeling now, the day after you finished the big project?
Well, it's not finished.
Not
It's
finished.
it's a big milestone, and I think I had very intensive months in the past, especially the last 2 weeks, where a lot of things to do, a lot of stress, a lot of choices, a lot of responsibilities for me, and once it was done, I was successful. I had many goosebumps, emotions. Like I'm not that sensitive person sometimes, but I can tell that all of this load that I had, it kinda went down,
Mm.
and I felt like out of my chest 10 kilogram less. Like
Uh-huh.
this morning I was walking, and I was feeling that I can breathe.
Uh-huh.
Like it was a lot. It was very beautiful though, very beautiful journey. Learned a lot. So grateful of my team. Everything we achieved, it's a teamwork, and it's beautiful.
I was with our friend PG, last night. And I was telling him it felt the project was really long. It was like a 6-month sprint, but then it was, as we got closer and closer, you had to get even faster. Like you're running a marathon, but you have to continue getting faster toward the end. But then once we, once we kind of achieved it yesterday, and I think it went pretty well. I want to get like kind of see how you feel about it. I think you also think it went well, but it felt like that whole time period, that whole time stretch just got condensed into like one memory.
Yeah,
And like, cause like once you work so hard on something and then you actually succeed at it and it goes well, then I don't know, you like look back on it as just like I suddenly started to feel just very grateful, not just for
it
how
was worth
people,
it.
yeah, how people reacted. The community, I think, had a good experience with it.
Yes.
We had a good experience with it. So you can look back on it like, wow, like look what it all kind of added up to.
Yeah. No, definitely 100%. And I, once you do it, you don't know how it goes. Like you get yourself to go to the market. There are so many um, factors that you can't predict as much as I like to try to have everything organized. There are things that until that time, it's always you don't know. It's
Mm-hmm.
an incognito, and then you get there, you see it realizing, you see it's well, you almost don't believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like there was a long journey. I think we postponed a lot. I was feeling like, oh, now the market is not so well, and people were like, oh, you're gonna do it now. You waited so long. Now you choose the bad time, but look at it, it went good. So I'm happy.
Yeah. The timing was I felt kind of lucky in a way.
Hmm.
Because we locked it in like a month and a half ago, right?
Yeah,
And then because of the things that have happened past 2 weeks in the market, let's say maybe past 3 weeks, market went down a good amount. I think in case anyone's watching this later, this is November 2025. So just check the charts for the previous month, you'll understand. But it kind of, I think it put a lot of the industry in a bit of like reservation mode. Like they kind of, a
yeah,
lot of projects withdrew
yeah.
and reduced their the effort that they were putting out, maybe like delayed announcements. So it kind of ended up, at least from my perspective, like the week was clear, and then we were looking around yesterday and the day before, right before we launched, like, wait, there's nothing else coming. Like, it's just folks this week. I thought that was like a really,
We'll get all the attention.
it was like a really great,
of course.
great, like kind of lucky, but I love that was part of it. There's nothing we could do about that, but like, I don't know. What do you think about it?
We're gonna go with it, and I think we are a bit different than many other projects because also building for so long, it's 5 years that we are building folks. Soon almost 4 years from the first time in mainnet. Of course, like, it's not the same as a, let's say, maybe few months hype project.
And then you go right into
it. Yeah. I think for us, we have like a stronger, solid pillars that we launched on top of it, right? It's not like just based on the narrative. So I was less afraid, to be honest, than from the market conditions. And I had so many people, like even the day before, saying, "Oh, you should delay. The market is bad. It's gonna go bad. Good luck." Like, I was like, "Okay, let's go on. Like, it's our decision. We'll take it and we will ride it."
When you were, so you personally handled a lot of the. Well, I mean, I think you're the leader of the team, right? So of course you handled the plan, but I think from the inside view of being part of that team, I know how hands-on you were with that whole process. Like, you didn't you delegated things, but it's not like you delegated to like a CFO or something. Like, you really,
which we don't have a CFO.
We don't even have one, right? But you were very much had the expression is like your
puppeteer.
Hands in many, puppeteer. Like, you had your hands in many pots and many pans and stuff. So, now that you've completed it, and I think a lot of people might consider that folks TGE punched above its weight, like outperformed expectations.
I'm glad if people think this.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, like, they weren't feeling too
confident. I think even members of our community, they were like, "Oh, it's gonna be bad. We're just gonna do a bad airdrop. It's not gonna go well." But to your point, yes, I think that once the decision was taken in, I put myself all in it, because I know the token launch is something just so important for folks, for in general, for a crypto project. It was my responsibility fully if this would have gone bad. So it's many risks for the company, for me, right? And I wanted to make sure as much as I could that everything was gonna go well. And obviously I didn't do everything alone, but one thing that I was reflecting after all of this steam went out, it was that the team performed very well. They were all doing their tasks. I say the marketing, also thanks to you, and the effort of the guys. They delivered.
Everybody was
grinding. The technical team did a huge effort at such a cross-chain token launch. It's not something easy. People cannot understand really what it means, like, because very often, even good launches, they have centralized exchange launch. There's one chain. DEX launch. It's even easier if you just do DEX. But for us was across 8 different networks, several exchanges, and so many years in the building, so many things to consider, 2 rounds of investments, and it wasn't easy to coordinate. And like, there is a bit of narrative around centralized exchange and how to deal with it. And I had to do it myself. Like, I would have trusted my team, but I wanted to be myself to take the risk of doing that. Of course, there were people very involved also in this part for support, but there was mostly me, like the negotiation and the deal with the exchanges and everything. That was a lot of work and a lot of things that I never did before. So I learned personally a lot. I'm so grateful of this journey. So in the end, I was like, okay, we did the best. Whatever it goes, I don't think we could have done anything better. So I have no regrets. Like the me, myself, the team, we put all of our energy. Let's go for it. And I think it paid well.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, but I was also part of the team, so I'm a little biased. But I a lot of founders, and you're right. There's a narrative right now that, and I would say it's a narrative, but it has something to it. Not just about centralized exchanges, but the whole concept of TGE has been. There's a lot of different like options, let's say. So if you go back a couple of years, like 3-4 years, the TGE process looked a lot different, but now you have so many different ways that you can kind of go about it. Centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, stuff like internet capital market. You start from like zero and build up. Some projects, they like launch pads, right? So it can be a lot, and for a founder or for someone who's trying to do that. So like, what do you think you can share to other founders, like from your perspective of the?
I can't share too much, but
no, like not about like a deal, but more about like your mindset of it.
So yeah, I think the founder has to be involved in this. I was listening to another founder in a discussion maybe a month ago. They were talking about their TGE, and the founder was saying, like, I was so busy that I had to delegate this to someone else. And I'm like, how is this possible?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is your like, the token launch is going to be the face of your product for many reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so like it or not, it is like this. So I don't think that's something so important, and you do it once. You don't have a way to do a TGE again.
Yeah.
In that sense, if it goes bad,
mm-hmm.
and it's going to be your company reputation. So not because I don't trust my team, of course I do. I trust you all guys, but it's more like the responsibility of it. And I think as a founder, you have to take it and you have to go all in with it. Like it's your own choices most of the time. And yeah, I would suggest to do this and to think that the decision that you're going to take are going to be crucial for the future of your project. So I think you need to look at what is going to be the right choices for the future of your project. So now, without going into details, I think this is a very standard rule. Then when you do the negotiation, when you design the tokenomics, when you do everything else, you need to think of what is going to benefit your vision, your mission, and the long term of it. Some projects, sometimes, for example, prefer to do a big pump at the beginning and sell, and then they have cash and then whatever. For folks, the decision that I took was the one of the long-term sustainability and for what we're building for the future. So I think that we for example, like, how do you decide the valuation of a TG? Like, no one tells you should do this or that. It's your own decision. So for us, we just looked at a good reference number where we could be right with the airdrop and also be growing from it. So not to be too cocky, but not too humble at the same time, like a good balance for what is your future vision of the project and what you're building. So this is also like an example of how do you make decision during a TG. So yeah, I think we did well again.
when it the team, like, I think our team we operate at a pretty good level, you know, to not to like overhype us, but we did a lot of things, and executing the launch across all those different chains, exchanges, just like so many moving parts. How do you go about building the team when you're hiring, and how do you know someone, or I don't know, how do you get that gut feeling of who's right and who wouldn't be right for the team?
I have a very good friend of mine who used to be a CEO of over a company with over 400 employees.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just at the beginning of my career, and he was telling me, like, you will see with the time, you will train your gut feeling about those specific things. Like sometimes you just do an interview and you feel this person is not right and you will not hire.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I understand that now, like, not about the hiring per se, but around building the team, I think that what we did very well is the way how we have been growing over time and how we have been adapting in what we fit the best. I don't think there is, like, from any role from the very beginning that we just hire someone and say, you are going to do this and do this way. I think we have been always flexible with a very lean startup mindset,
Mm-hmm.
where someone will enter because of the passion or because of whatever. And then we fit him. We are all men, so we can say we fit him in the right role for what he likes,
Yeah.
what is good for him, and he does passionately. And I've seen people evolving into this journey and getting, more passionate, working with pleasure, and better even. Like, I think you can also reflect on your own journey into Folks, right? Like maybe from before to CMO, more responsibility. I think you evolved also very well into the role. And yeah, that's for many employees of Folks, many contributors that have been growing with us. I don't think we have any person who was like from the big companies. We have been always hiring passionate people,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been growing together. And yeah, I think this reflects also me, because this is my first startup experience, first leadership experience. And I try to, maybe unconsciously I do this, but I like when the team takes this energy from you, of like not being afraid of learning something new, of doing something new. I always think, like, if someone else can do it, we can also do it, because we hire good brains, right? Like, and like I was just thinking about this podcast, right? Like the reason why we are here recording, me and you, it's because we have been talking about this, and it's expensive to record a podcast with famous podcast scale, and we were like, what? We are great talking with each other, right? We don't do it. So that's the flexibility of Fox team.
Well, we've been like, I mean, I think you do find hidden gems. Like you find hidden gems around Italy, different parts of Europe. I mean, even around the rest of the world too. And I mean, when it comes to this, you and I, like, we've been
a long
traveling
journey
around and doing the thing for like 3 years now. And yeah, it's just crazy. Like, I remembering back to the first time that we went to SF, and I was like, I just kind of been hired by you like a couple months before, and that was the first time we hung out for like a couple days. Actually, it was like,
and you were
2
working
weeks.
for our competitor. So.
Yeah, before. Anyway, that's ancient history. But okay, so we did the launch, right? The token's out, and some things that we're going to be kind of wrapping up about it in the next few weeks. Then, we're going into the Chainlink build rewards, and the vesting will begin, and the claim and lock and stuff like that. But like the big next development is the V2. And I think a lot of people, even myself included, well, of course, but I'm excited for it. But like, I wanted to talk about it, and let's just start from the top. Like V2 of folks Xchain, it's going to be a whole different animal.
Yeah.
What do you think people, or what are you looking forward to, and how are you kind of envisioning it to take the folks experience to like another level?
Yeah. So I think I like to reflect how folks evolved over the years a little bit, just to get to understand the mindset of the team and how we grow always towards thinking we need to innovate, we can do better and deliver better product. So right, we started in Algorand with the lending protocol. We grew it, we added tools, we became probably the first DeFi one-stop shop where you could have done everything, lending, swaps, leverage trading, liquid staking, leverage liquid staking in one place. It was a big innovation. Then we wanted to innovate across multiple chains, and we found out the inefficiencies of forking the same product in different chains. So we created Xchain, our cross-chain lending protocol. That, the main advantages of Xchain is the fact that you can manage your assets across multiple chains for cross-chain loans, and also the efficiency of unifying liquidity from cross-chain assets into one place. So I think this was always for us in reaching the bar of what is in the industry as a target in terms of innovation. And Xchain was a huge challenge. You know it as well. We worked very hard over it. It's simply Xchain the cross-chain lending was something so new that even us, we were going into a limbo that we didn't know what was gonna be. A difficult product to build. So we have launched it over a year ago now, and we are the leading cross-chain lending. It's a beautiful position to be. And let's say new competitors are coming. It's exciting. It's good to have competition in that sense. But we are 1 year ahead of the other with experience of building something, of testing something with users. And we had the luck and the chance to understand how this can evolve better. And obviously we also always monitor the trends of the market and where it's going. So we now have a very clear picture of how a cross-chain lending would need to be to scale quickly. So the main new innovations that we are going to bring into Xchain V2 is going to be first of all, improvement in terms of user experience. Let's say the tagline is one click, that's it. For the operation that you are doing, that right now it isn't like this. And simply because we believe that DeFi has to be as simple as possible if you want to get mainstream adoption. And then that's the first thing. Let's say the user experience to be much better. Meanwhile, obviously keeping the advantages of it. And the second one is to integrate EVM and non-EVM chains, which is pretty important. So for us, just to explain why right now there aren't EVM chains integrated, is that once we launched Xchain, we understood that there are so many things that can be improved. So a non-EVM integration would require us a lot of work. So we were like, okay, the first, let's launch the cross-chain lending. We did. Then it was let's launch the token. We did. Both things went well. And now it's again, okay, now let's grind and launch the cross-chain lending V2. And knowing the things that we are going to improve, now we know also that we can do this effort to integrate the non-EVM chains. And as will be beautiful, simply you don't have right now a product that not even close by that you can use, don't know, Solana to collateralize and borrow on Ethereum ETH, right?
Sure.
Like it's
Sure.
it's gonna be a very, very, very big innovation in that sense. Also, we are going to abstract the strategies for DeFi. So we want to do
What does that mean?
yeah,
Like,
one-click looping of LSTs and
Mhm.
then the native assets. Let's say like looping of AVAX.
Okay.
That's like you
Yeah.
can do one click. And also we want to open we have a monolithic cross-chain lending right now.
What,
So it's
what does that mean
so
for
yes,
someone who doesn't know? what that
Aave
means?
is the monolithic lending.
Yeah.
So our is like Aave but cross-chain in the sense that the chain and the assets can actually interoperate with each other.
But break down real quick, like, what does monolithic lending mean if someone wouldn't know what that means?
Yes, it means that you are being able to collateralize and borrow assets based on what is the DAO proposing, and it's everything controlled. So
Yeah.
there is not controlled by the DAO in that sense, that the parameters are all proposed and are confirmed there. Then we have vaults-based lending,
Yeah.
which is like Morpho or Euler, and those involves creation of permissionless strategies with risk curators, which we have seen is dangerous.
Permissionless or permissioned?
It's permissioned with the curators.
Yeah.
Yes. So, but they can create the strategies that they want.
Yeah.
So, yes, this creates, in some cases, there are better yields, of course, but also a lot of risks. And we have seen it in the last few weeks with a lot of defaults going on because some of those strategies weren't sound enough. So we want to get a hybrid version of that, where the DAO supervision what is being done by the curators, but giving them certain range of flexibilities.
Yeah.
And at the same time to have the monolithic on the side that you can use the standards markets that are, let's say, brought up by the main protocol. So you have the main protocols plus the curated strategies.
Yeah.
And I really think that this can work very well, because I think it's good to give the opportunity to curators to do better than the main protocol, if under a safety standard, let's say, because I think the first and most important thing for a team behind a DeFi project is to protect users.
Right.
And it's not that you can protect users always under a terms and condition, right? Like we are all saying like you take responsibility of using smart contracts, but well, users, we know that they are attracted by yields.
Right.
So sometimes the yields can be a trap,
Mm.
and you don't really want to do this for users who are trusting a brand,
Mhm.
right? Like it's sometimes, very often, those curators, it's not even that reliable. You don't know what's going to happen later with them. So I think allowing curators to do whatever they want in that sense on the protocol, so the users then are going to use their strategies, is not that wise. So yeah, I think that those are the main things that we will wrap all together into V2 and ship it and deliver really the best cross-chain lending that the industry has ever seen.
So easier strategies, like easier to use,
Yes.
more networks, including non-Ethereum, that could be Algorand, Sol, others as well. And the best of both worlds, having the curated strategies in the vaults type of system
Combined, yes.
with the more like generally open markets.
No,
So
to be
both can
honest, I foresee a future where we're also adding a layer of compliance underneath that is you can add pools where only certain whitelisted addresses can access. And this allows to have a lot of flexibility with RWAs. So I believe that ideally a lending protocol infrastructure like we want to be for like the long term, it should allow even a financial institution to come and launch their own smart contract based loans, maybe even in their own white label way, just knowing underneath that there are trusted smart contracts that allow this creation of loans, where maybe you say, I have 10 lenders which provide $1 million each, and I allow from this pool just to borrow those specific 20 borrower $500,000 each against certain collateral, like to really be able to customize this loan experience for the wish of the end user. Now, this is obviously, we are talking about a vision. It's not, it's very hard to get in at this point, but I think that is feasible, and I think it's where as a lending infrastructure we should look at.
And sometimes when I'm going around conferences and stuff, I'll say, I work for Folks Finance, cross-chain lending. People are like, cross-chain lending? Like, well, why, right? What I say is, it just unlocks way more flexibility, more strategies. But even on a, like, let's think a couple years from now, and we're assuming like the products get better overall, the technology, even folks and the blockchains and all that, the options get better. Why do you feel that going the cross-chain route, which at this point, I mean, the folks Xchain has been live for a little bit over a year, and only now we're starting to see a couple competitive projects in the cross-chain lending space pop up. Past year, though, has mostly in the lending sector has been mostly defined by the vaults. Why do you think? What made you stay so kind of focused on the cross-chain? If you consider it in a very large scale, like, why do you think the cross-chain method, building a foundation that's cross-chain, is better? And especially now that you're seeing like a couple other projects start to go more in that direction, including Aave.
I think that chains, gas fees, and all of these technology-related friction should be abstracted. So I don't see how we cannot go this direction. I think it's just a matter of when the technology is going to be ready to be so abstracted. I think that is very inefficient all the time to be need to look, let's say in Aave, you may switch the same assets, the USDC, across different networks just because there is a better interest over USDC on, let's say, on Arbitrum rather than Avalanche. So why is that? Like the end user shouldn't be doing this, even though you can automate this, but I think it should be unified. And I think, like, if I want to earn a yield because I'm lending stable coin, I don't really need to think on which chain I'm giving this. I need to just think about the yield, and that's it. And same is when you're borrowing. Like, if I am borrowing USDC and it's being delivered from a chain, let's say with folks, like, no matter where you borrow USDC, it's being delivered by Avalanche, from Avalanche. And why, as a borrower, you would need to care where your loan is coming from? So not when you go to the bank, you ask them, hey, where's my dollar coming from? You don't care. You just want the money. So that's, I really don't see why we need to have a future still multi-chain with fragmentation and inefficiencies. I think that we must go cross-chain.
I think the point you make about when you compare it to the bank, if you get a loan, you don't have to go in the safe, in the vault, and like see the dollars. You just get it. we're basically starting to build that, or we've been building it and starting to continue building it up in an upgraded way, to the point where we'll be able to achieve that, but it'll be built on the DeFi, skeleton of you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes, yes, of
yeah.
course. It's going to be. I think DeFi, you said correct. It's an infrastructure, it's a skeleton. It shouldn't be a friction, which is today. So folks works towards this.
Now that you finished the TGE, like you got married, what was it, like a month or two ago?
Yeah, 2 months ago. Like she's been handling a marriage and a TGE as well. Holy woman.
What are you gonna do? What do you like to do to chill?
Yeah, honeymoon. I say like I need to take care of the TGE first. Then my brain is going to be a little less thinking. I have one of those brain that never stop thinking. Is very hard for me to purely chill. I have my ways to do that. I have a special relationship with water. I'm an ocean person. So we'll go to some beautiful place in the ocean with my wife, and we'll take a bit of rest, like just resetting to health, and then be ready to grind again.
It's coming up, man. Overall in the crypto industry right now, there's like new things, right? Last year we saw vault-based lending, but we also saw on a different category, like meme coins,
yield-bearing stablecoin,
stablecoin chains, prediction markets. What do you think about the way that it's different than when you started Folks? Like when you started Folks, it was much simpler in a way. Like you had the DEXs, lending, and staking, and now you have far more kind of complicated and complex.
They are more complicated sometimes under the hood, but not on the face.
Right.
So I will say, like, I think yield-bearing stablecoin are an interesting example of that, in the sense that you have your stablecoin, you see an opportunity to make a yield on top of that, you just click, you don't need to know what's happening underneath, right? So it is complicated, probably, but for the end user, it isn't. Well, let's say there are risks related, of course, and we have seen how those sometimes are not managed properly. But I do believe that we are in a more, let's say, advanced rather than complicated ecosystem, because there are so many more things to do. But I think we are getting better. For example, when I use some perp decks, I feel they are so much better than centralized exchange perpetuals.
Right.
I love it.
Yeah.
Like it's so much easier to use and very easy to access. I think the industry has done a lot of improvements over that. And I like to see this. It give me the energy to think, oh wow, we are actually improving better than centralized exchange, which will be like that. We shouldn't compete as DeFi with ourselves, but rather try to compete with the higher market.
Yeah, no, I agree. The banks, and I think now we're seeing, at least in the US, there's so much more acceptance and adoption of crypto in the past year. Stablecoins, became insanely popular here. Now they're working on market structure, regulations and stuff. And you've always it's always been part of your vision to try to be early to that CDeFi, centralized DeFi, or I don't really think that's accurate, but more like regulated and like compliant, compliant DeFi. And what can you tell people about like the work you've done on that so far, and kind of like how you see that part of things?
Yes, I always thought that, because there are the extremists that say, so DeFi, it's the only way, we're gonna beat the banks. I think that the right way to see things, and I always said that, but you're right, and now we are actually seeing it happening, is where the two worlds merge. So DeFi is purely technologies, right? And sometimes we need to make the difference between technology and finance. So when we say the word banking, neobanks, let's say, they really like it nowadays.
They don't really like it?
They really
They
like
really
it.
like
So
it?
yeah. Everyone is a neobank basically now. It's just because it's a trending word.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't even know that in order to be able to use the word bank in your statements, advertisement, you need to have a financial license. And this represents protection for your customers, represents certain level of safety that DeFi just doesn't have, right? So I don't want to argue on this, but in general, I think that DeFi does technology and finance does financial services. So there is a way to bring the goodness of these technologies in the financial services. And that's where I think that we should go.
Yeah.
That's why we are investing in the launch of Folks Mobile, of course. So Folks Mobile is separated from Folks. It's VASP licensed.
What is that? Like, tell people what that means.
It's the license that allows for digital assets to be managed.
Yeah. And that's VASP, like VASP.
Yeah, correct. So we are building this mobile app which has custody, has a debit card, and we want to bring all the goodness of DeFi tools into a very easy to use and also regulated tool. There's a mobile app.
Yeah.
So you can have it in your pockets. That's what I like to think. And the benefits of DeFi are many.
Yeah.
And that's just simplified, put it in under the hood of very easy to use app and provide this to everyone. I really think that, and it's not going to be just DeFi tools of Folks Finance. We are going to integrate also other DeFi tools, strategies. And I really think that if you are able to give something that is in the pocket, on an app on the smartphone, which allows people to easily have access to, for example, yield-bearing stablecoin, like convert your fiat into those strategies. And when you compare the rates that you can have on DeFi to traditional finance, you are going from, let's say, traditional finance 0 to 3, DeFi 10 to 20.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
I mean,
like you don't need much more explanation. So like I remember we were discussing like what's gonna be the cost of acquisition per user of Folks Mobile, and the analysis was like, oh, $18. I'm like, what? Like this is for exchange, because exchanges are also very like centralized exchange, hard to use, and but even for a fintech app, it's this cost.
Yeah.
And I said to the team, we don't do that. We do something that it has to be so good that people are just going to refer the friends to it because it's so good. So I want this to be cut down to almost nothing. And yeah, that's as usual. You know me. Like it's this way. It's the Italian blood for doing things. Or yes.
Yeah.
But I really believe that this is feasible with DeFi. I believe that pure DeFi nowadays is too hard. It's too difficult, frictioned. So yeah, that's the hybrid version. And plus the mobile app, I obviously with the debit card, I want it to be something where everyday spending comes into place. So we know how to do lending, right? Like it's our part. So there is a beautiful combination that, for example, EtherFi was bringing first to the market of combining crypto-baked loans to top up the card to spend. was the first one. Like, there is so much more that can be done better. Just the fact that we can have cross-chain lending underneath, so multiple chain empowering this tool, it's already a better implementation.
Yeah.
So I want to bring this to the next level now. Without sharing too much about it, it's just going to be you tap and under the hood, instead then selling your crypto or digital assets, all the things that we are going to integrate to the card, to the mobile app.
Yeah.
You tap, you top up the card, and you spend through having a collateral.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes this collateral may be even yielding more than what you're borrowing to pay.
Yeah.
So at some point, it can be that you are spending, and the money that you spent are generating a yield for you.
Yeah.
So this is for me something that you don't need $18 to acquire a new user. It's
It's
a
like
brainer.
You can spend while the assets keep earning yield, maybe even to the point where you're not even spending as much as you're earning, or
Correct.
you're only spending what you're yielding, so
Yes,
you never
correct.
actually lose any money. So we did the token, V2 coming, folks mobile in development, investment has been made. What else do people need to know, like coming into the end of 2025 and 2026?
We're also building a new LST, and
right.
I think LST, also the liquid staking token, have a lot of improvements that can be done. I see as a very slowly developing field of crypto.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot of competition, but it's mainly copy pasting what the other do
onto a different asset.
It's just looking for lucrative opportunities on new chain, and I believe that our team can develop something so much better. So we're going to launch a new EVM LST soon as well. And the way we want to do it is also with under the hood DeFi strategies. So the user can choose between vanilla, staking APR, and then, without saying too much, other more risk, but also more advanced APRs. So
more opportunities.
Yes, more opportunities.
Ways.
Yes, correct. And the Xchain V2 mobile app, new LST, that's already a lot. So we will not add more weight on the shoulder.
It's going to be a busy year next year.
Yes, definitely.
Is there anything you want to say, like to the community directly? Maybe here. I don't know. You pick.
Just thank you, because the community for us has been a huge part of our journey, and it keeps being, and we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. I hope that really we respected everyone with the token launch and the airdrop, and keep doing what you did so far. Keep supporting, keep talking to us. We like to listen feedback of community. And if you haven't joined, folks, it's a good time to start.
We did it. Good stuff, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.